Welcome. Glad you're here. So I want to do a slightly different kind of tarot reading today. My goal is to talk about the world that we want to bring into existence, the world that, one of the things I've heard about the starseed phenomenon is, this longing for home that's somewhere other than here. And they say we're here to bring that vision of home here to this planet. And I feel very much a part of this planet. I love this planet, but I want it to be like that home that I long for. So I long for this planet being more like what this planet feels like it wants to be to me. There's a book that I really love called The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible by Charles Eisenstein. And I modulate that title to The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Long For. And so I want this reading to be about our role in bringing about that more beautiful world. And I apologize in advance. My cat is pestering me for better food. She has plenty. She just doesn't like what it is. So she's going to pester me the whole time. And I apologize for that. This is usually her seat. So she's trying to get there and she knows it bugs me. So anyway, I have 3 different cards drawn using 3 different decks. And so the card in this position is the card of what's our role in the world created by what people call the powers that were. I really like it. I didn't invent that one, but I like it. Basically how are we dealing from the perspective of longing for this new way of being. What are we doing in the world, basically the culture that calls itself globalization, the one that has the momentum of the past behind it in our experience. And then this position is for what do we move toward? How are we going to participate in the transition? What's our, what can we do to most effectively be in the transition to the world we want to be in? And then this card, or it's cards in this instance. This position is for what will our role in the new world be? What some people are calling New Earth. How can we be in that now? How can we most? What's our best way to participate in this world that we want to bring in? And so I used 3 different decks. And the first I used what used to be called the Rider-Waite deck, but the art was done by Pamela Coleman Smith, and she was very much a co-creator with Arthur Waite. So I'm trying to call it the Smith-Waite deck rather than the Rider-Waite deck, because the Rider was just its old publisher. And what's important about what I like about this deck is that it's basically the mother of all contemporary tarot decks, at least all decks that have images for the minor arcana, because before this deck, the minor arcana just looked like irregular playing cards. So what we have in the position of our role, or what we're doing from a what's coming in future perspective, how should we best, what's our best role for being in the momentum of this culture made by the powers that were. And so this is the 9 of Pentacles, and this is a woman who has made this beautiful garden. Grapes take a lot of work, apparently. That it takes time and work, and she's this beautiful falcon is companioning her. And everything that is cultivated here took a lot of effort and discernment and knowledge of what most pleased her, and putting effort into building the grapes that will make the wine that you most love. So filling your own cup is one way to talk about this, but in a very embodied way. So this is also a card of sensual pleasure, of enjoying the pleasures of life and knowing precisely what pleases you uniquely. and cultivating that. And it takes a lot of time and effort to cultivate your own knowledge of your own pleasures rather than just what fashion or what you think would impress other people. And those are really other people's pleasures that rather than your own. So cultivate your own garden in a very deep way. And so the next deck I used is this Sacred Rebels deck by Alana Fairchild. And why I bought it is I absolutely love the artwork of Autumn Sky. And so here was, I don't know, 62 cards or something, each a different artwork by Autumn Sky. But I've come to really love this deck. And I'm using it in this position because it's really good deck for focused on what will help, what to focus on to help you transform from whatever's making you uncomfortable right now or whatever you're dealing with. And so the card that comes in is called Pandora's Gift. And that's really interesting because, of course, Pandora is supposed to be, the myth is, she let all these horrible things out into the world. But it really means, Pan means everywhere or universal, but everywhere, and Dora means gift. So this is the gift that permeates everything. So you can see these beautiful light codes that she's built into these paintings, and they're either radiating out of the heart or coming down into the heart, and maybe both. Maybe it's a conversation. And I also get a 3D aspect. It's like her whole head is surrounded by these beautiful information. So light informing love, and love informing light. Is the gift that we bring to this world. And so I see these two cards very much working together. The gift that you bring to the world is the gift that pleases you the most and most deeply. And so how we can be in what people might call 3D or, the mundane world where we go to work or deal with people who think we're nuts for thinking about stuff like this, is to be the gift that you are, and allow that gift to nourish your beautiful garden. And I heard something wise recently that really informs me. It says, pay attention to the people that water your roots and don't just pick your flowers. So really know that you are the gift, that the gift comes through in and as you. You're like the filter, filtering out the things that aren't your gift and allowing your gift to shine more and more clearly. And we do that by watering our garden and really cultivating what pleases us uniquely. And so then the deck that I'm using for what we bring into the future is a deck I just got yesterday, literally. The Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud and Jessica Macbeth. He did the artwork and she did the text. And it's just an amazing deck. And why I'm using it here is because this deck is completely channeled, working with beings in fairy. And so like this deck, the Smith-Waite deck, has a lot of cultural momentum behind it. If it was ever channeled, it was hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, and has this rich cultural history behind it, which is very beautiful. But it's very much the momentum of the past. They're even dressed in medieval clothing, and there's kings, and there's just a whole bunch about how we've done society and the way that the powers that were design, have had a lot of influence over. But this deck, if we want to talk about, bringing in the world our hearts long for, we need to think outside of the momentum of what has been. And so that's why I really like this deck, is because it's co-created with these beings in fairy, and I experience every card as like a portal into another realm. And so it's part of, bringing down that realm and really grounding it out into the world through our heart work, through our hearts. And of course, I kept asking for one card, and two came out, and they're fairies. They can't follow the rules. I mean, that's like, not that they can't, but that it's not their beingness to do so. It's their beingness to be playful and kind of tweak things and poke at things. And and these two cards that came out together are beautiful together. And so this the Singers of Healing is one of the ways that we can be in this world that we want to become, today. This is how we can start being in the world we long for in our lives now. And this is one of the cards that they're called the Singers of the Realms. This is a light being. It's not even fully not embodied in the way that we are, but it's the essence of, it's that vibration or quality that's focused on singing healing into the world. And this essence is available to you at any time. And I see many figures in this card, but I see a central, very, very tender, very nurturing, very loving and caring being here. And it's almost like a figure of like the Holy Spirit over her head, if you want to think in those terms. But it's like there's this other light being right above her head and connecting up and the vertical, with these almost chakra like portals, and the energy, is just beautifully radiating out. And it's just such a lovely image. I mean, I feel it in my heart and my body, and it's this ethereal, crystalline, but warm, joyful, and a little luscious energy that just knows that all things are possible, and that healing doesn't have to hurt and doesn't have to be hard. And then the other card that came out with it is also absolutely delightful card called the Maiden. And I just love that the Maiden is a young child, not a nubile, attractive, soon to be mother. That this is the innocence of childhood and the joy that we came into this world from. And you can really see how she's still connected to how this light is. It's almost like an egg cracking on her head, or almost like a water splash. That's really what it's more like. It's like it's hitting her head and spilling down around her brow. And so I love these two cards together. And so what that's saying to me is to truly cultivate our own garden and know our own gifts, we need to cherish and nurture our own young innocence, the part of ourselves that was taught that this world is the way that the powers that world want it to be, that this innocence was beaten out of us, and for some of us, unfortunately, in a literal physical way, but in others, just browbeaten. One way or the other, we were taught that we had to knuckle under to the powers that were, because that's the way that structure worked. But we're moving into a much more, where this suffusing the world with our gifts. Pan means everywhere, inside out, everywhere. And so in order to really free our hearts to hear and be in dialogue with the light, and to nurture and our own gardens, we have to bring healing by nurturing our inner young ones. And that doesn't have to be, it can be done through joy and delight. And sometimes, what we may find when we try to access the joy and delight is really just grief of all the years where we haven't had access to it. But that passes very quickly, and sometimes you can just, tap into the beauty of this, and just use dance, use crayons, use song, and let your heart light just flow, and let that nourish the parts of you that maybe felt that they didn't get the nourishment that they needed. But we can just be in that childlike delight and deal with whatever keeps us from it when it comes up. And so, even in the momentum of the past world that we have to deal with, this is the grown-up whose inner child was nourished. This little one is the one that knows what kind of grapes we love and why we love them, and takes delight in this bird and everything else in this beautiful world that we live in. So let me know if this was interesting to anybody, or if this was fun and I could do more of them. Any technical tips or critiques that you have, I'm wide open. This is brand new and I'm trying to learn. But I just enjoy spending this time with you. And if this reading resonated, if it lifted your heart or gave you ideas, then hit that like button and claim it. Make it yours. Doing things like that are very powerfully a statement of intent, and that's all that Spirit needs from us is intent and consent to send us, all the healing joy that we want. Is we have, in order for us to be not dependent in a childlike relationship, we have to have free will, and we have to we exert that free will by choice and intent. So if you want to claim this reading, then please hit the like button, and it does also help other people who might benefit from it find it. So thanks for being here, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.